Yeah, what is good, everybody? I hope you all had a successful trading day. Somewhat of a slow day in the markets. I think it's just kind of the market waiting on those non-farm payroll numbers to come in tomorrow. And there's some suggestion those numbers are going to come in hot based on some of the some of the moves the Feds have been making. But we'll just have to see. It's kind of 50-50 from here, but the most important thing to be aware of in this situation is how far we can go in either direction and what you can do in all scenarios. So, also natural gas, we got some big moves coming ahead. It's very clear structure here, so I think we can make a lot of money off of it. So make sure to stick around for that part. And let's just get into it. Make sure to share the video some love, give it a like and subscribe, and let's get into it. So to start off, oil here. So oil has been kind of basing today. I said it was going to get that bounce. A big reason was we had that 9 count here on the 4 hour, which is really significant. And we got somewhat of a reversal here. It's more of kind of like basing consolidation. Now, on the higher time frames, like the daily, this was a very deep drop. So I was looking for those higher levels, specifically 82 and up to 85 region. Now, because we dropped so fast and so strongly, it's a little hard to be confident that we're looking back up to 85 again, but it's still possible. The line in the sand is that 0.854, so 71.72, but this was a very strong move down. I didn't really see an ABC structure, a corrective structure, more impulsive, just more powerful. So it's a little dangerous here, but we should be getting more of a bounce, considering this is wave 2 of 5 waves to the downside, which would look like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however that's drawn. The levels we could be returning up to are the 50% and that golden pocket here. So you could see back up to the 78s, 77ers. If we see that, that's where it's really important to kind of be watching how this structure plays out. So if you see a clear 3 waves up, like it really depends on the structure. It's not about where we get to, it's more about how we get there. So we're going to be watching the structure closely, see what it wants to do from the natural gas. So really clear structure to me. It took me a while to kind of just see this structure, and this is what we have here. We're in a wave 3 and we're looking at a bounce soon. So there's a little bit more downside. That target would be around 3.44, and the way I found that is with this fib extension right here. So you draw that from the top here. I'm going to zoom out even more so you can really see the entire structure of this. This is a massive ABC structure. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. If you can see that, A, B, C, and now you're in 5 down again. So zooming back in here, you can make if you trade in futures and you can trade this right, you can make some serious money here. So consider assuming wave 3 bottoms at the 1.618. That's usually where wave 3 likes to go. From there, it's going to be around here, likely around here, that we get a bounce. So if we bottom, let's just say, so it was 342, this around here, wave 2 can bounce up to, or this is wave 4, sorry. So wave 4 cannot go past the 50% and it cannot go past the previous wave 1. So you could get all the way back up to 4.3ish, 4.26, right in this region. So if you're playing futures, that would be like 5 digits per contract, 18,000. So a lot of money could be made on this if that's the way it goes. And then from there, you get one more massive sell-off to around 2.3, which I'm going to show you how you can find that. That would be from the top of the A wave to the bottom to the B wave, and the C wave would be equal to this wave, so at that 100% extension, so around 2.36, 2.4. I don't think I'd do it perfectly, but it's around this region. So once this whole thing plays out, then we can start talking about those downside targets. And it's going to be very interesting because after this ABC, well, if this is the way it goes, you could see like a couple, you'll see, let me put this up. So assuming this is an ABC down to 2.3, whatever that is, you could be moving all the way back up to 11, so a new high. So keep an eye on natural gas. You can make some serious money on this thing. And if you want help with that, join the Discord. You can follow it with us. So we're going to see how that does tomorrow. I do want just a little more downside, and I would be looking to go long in futures. I would want to see some confirmation with, MACD crossing over, divergences, maybe some like patterns, volume kicking in with a really big hammer candle, something like that. Something that gives me a signal that, the momentum's going to shift. So that bounce is coming soon. We might have a little more downside. So be patient with this one. I think we're going to be seeing that bounce soon. This bounce would be around 30%. So it was like 3.42, whatever. Yeah, that's a massive bounce actually. 5.3. That's a big bounce, 50%. So don't sleep on natural gas right now. Keep your eye on it. Boil and cold, BOIL and KOLD are those ETFs to trade this. Leverage ETFs. They move double what this does. So keep an eye on this. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss out on this volatility. This is very clear structure. Keep an eye on it. DXY, we somewhat broke out of this range. We back tested it. It's likely that we're going to hold this, but we need confirmation. We have to see. Non-farm payroll should give us a better signal of that. So you can see we actually back tested that high, and it's a little interesting now. This actually could be potentially a kind of a wedge structure where this would reverse soon. So you can see this trend line right on too. That's pretty clear to me, as well as maybe something like this. So if it's a wedge, you would be coming back down right through this to the downside. There's this little region of illiquidity that might want to get tested right here. You can see that. So watch to see if it holds this top area of this channel. If it doesn't, you could be coming right back down, and that would give the markets some relief. Apple here. So this bullish bias that I have really kind of needs to kick in soon, because you're under some big trend lines here, and the bounces are not lasting for very long. So you got this bounce, but it gave it right back, dropped again here. So it's a little dangerous here. You have decent divergences, and the volume isn't completely supporting this drop, except for this one that's pretty well supported drop here, but off resistance too. That was a really strong support before, and you can see that nasty rejection with volume. So it's a little interesting here. Apple, you got those gaps lower. If it doesn't reclaim this trend line soon, it really does need to do it soon. It needs to be powerful, or else Apple can keep going. So Apple, keep this one on watch. You could see a nice squeeze if it does play out that way. Non-farm payroll should have a pretty big influence on this. So for non-farm payrolls, that's at 2 hours after open. So from what I've seen, usually you get there's one move that happens right when it's announced, and the real move is the opposite of that first move, whatever that is. So keep that in mind. Don't get tricked out here. So you're going to see what I'm talking about with these fake outs once we get to SPY. So Tesla, I said this is going to be a process. It doesn't look like it wants to fall too much more, although it still can. Those areas, that area is going to be 101 to 94. Underneath that, it's 66. So it looks like it's basing. It's just testing these resistances, these supports. Like I said, it's not going to shoot right back up because the energy and momentum of this drop was very, very powerful. And after these kind of sell-offs, you don't see that kind of immediate recovery. It has a lot of resistances to get through. This is now supply zone. So Tesla, it could be range bound for a little bit, but the big level to be watching, if it gets back above around the mid 120s, you could definitely see a nice push higher towards the 140s into this supply zone, where I would expect some sellers to come in. Amazon, we're watching this one, that channel here. Not too much to say until we get through this one, and we can talk about hitting these gaps above, as well as this trend line, which I'm not sure why it's drawn like this, but you do have some working through this if you can look back here, and it is interacting with that region pretty well. Yeah, so there's a couple ways you can draw this, I guess, but you can see there's some resistance right in this region here, so if you can get back through that, you can definitely see a really nice move up, probably towards 111. That's a really decent move, to be honest, like 30%. So Amazon, keep this on watch. It's been selling off pretty hard lately, and it's getting these divergences, so you could see a move up soon. Non-farm payrolls, will probably affect it. LabVIEW, you tested that region again. Um, it's a little interesting here. LabVIEW, I'm not too confident about this. I just want to see this region get tested. And now it's actually testing this region with it's testing it sustainably. So, if you look back here, it was just this massive push with no relief up, and now we're consolidating above this support, which is 660. You back tested this trend line, so interesting spot here. You could shoot back down, but it's in this region sustainably. So keep that in mind if you are trading this. If you can get through this region, target to 770 to 810. Then from there, we may be able to talk about a LabD trade. So LabD is the opposite of LabU. So once this reaches the top of this range, LabD could make a move to the top of that range. So we'll be watching this. SOXL. Actually, the one to talk about right now is SOXS. That legendary support I've been talking about held it really well since then. It's up, I believe, a little over 20% here. 25%. So you got some nice gaps up above. We'll see how that goes. The market's at a tricky spot. It might not be time to hit those, but when SOXS gets down to that 30 region, you really want to be keeping in mind if you want to get an entry or not, because this is by far the absolute most consistent and strong support I've ever seen. It doesn't break this level. So keep it in mind that 30 region is a very good area to consider picking up. You do have a gap here, so that might actually get filled before we do make a move up, but we'll have to see. Keep this on watch. That next big move down in the markets is coming within the next few weeks, months maybe. So be watching this, that 30 region. VIX, not too much to say. Just in this triangle, waiting for that breakout. You got incentive to come down here to fill this gap maybe. So, VIX, not too much to say. We're just going to be waiting until it really genuinely has a breakout, which I would like to. Yeah, you want a big breakout. You want to see something very, very obvious. Like, let me just kind of put it drawing up so you can see. Like this breakout, we broke out right into resistance, and that's just, it needs to be something major where you're coming up here, you're consolidating higher, and especially past the apex, past this apex right here. Whatever direction this breaks out from, past the apex, is going to be that genuine move. So keep the VIX on watch. That could give us a signal for when the market is really ready to make a big moves. On the SPY here, you're sitting in this kind of middle ground here. Very tricky. You have a sort of bearish triangle here. And the way I'm getting that is, so triangles have this A, B, C, D, E structure. The E structure, the E is like, it's you can see what I'm talking about. It's a little awkward. It broke out, came back in. But this is like a triangle and a bear flag combined. So it's a little tricky here because you have two conflicting patterns that lean to different sides. So if this is where it really becomes important to be able to play off whatever direction comes. So we're going to talk about the upside first. If we break to the upside, the level to get over is the 386 region right here. This volume gap we've been talking about for the past week or so. Once you get above this, it's a straight move up to 394 to 396. If you get above 396, it is a very, very bad idea to short. It's likely just going to squeeze through. And to the downside, the targets is that golden pocket, so 372 to 370 to this volume node where this is a point of control in this region, where the highest amount of volume is being traded in this region, is 366. So you could potentially, the range here is 394 to 396, really 396 to 366. So whichever way it moves, it's going to be massive. And in a situation like this, it's very, it's a good idea to play a straddle, because whichever way it goes, it's going to outweigh the losses by a long shot. So chances are the breakout happens tomorrow. You're very tight in this apex. It cannot consolidate for much longer. It's going to break out soon. If it doesn't happen tomorrow, it's going to happen next week. So we can also take a look at the Bollinger Bands in the Keltner channel. when the Bollinger Band's inside the Keltner channel, um, tightening volatility of breakouts coming. So this breakout it's very imminent. I cannot remember the last time I've seen it this tight. I guess back here, but even now this is tighter than it was here. So the breakout is going to be disgusting. I think it's a good idea to run a straddle. I'm not a financial advisor, but we do have a straddle plan in that Discord if you want to check that out. Join it. You're not going to regret that. So take advantage of this breakout. Whichever way it goes, it's going to be big, and it will outweigh the losses of which the other side you're betting on if you're doing a straddle. Yes, it's in this triangle here. A major breakout is coming. So if you're not taking a gamble, some people they're kind of betting on one side. I don't really know why people do that. Do those hedges. If you're in a situation like this, it's going to outweigh the losses of the other direction you have in your straddle. So that's where I'm going to leave it. We're going to see a breakout soon. Natural gas, keep an eye on this one. I'm going to be watching this very closely for the next few days, next few weeks, next few months. This is probably going to be my main go-to for a little bit while we're just kind of waiting for oil to show us something. Natural gas is going to be the main one for me. So that's where I'm going to leave this video. If you watched the whole thing through, show it some love, give it a like and subscribe, and peace out, guys.